Hello and welcome to www.luxurytolast.com. Today we're talking diamonds. This is the second video about diamonds, and it's basically in response to my first video, and I've had some really nice replies from people, and I really do appreciate positive comments about my videos, because I do make my videos not for profit, but basically to give information to people out there. So I would like to continue, and I want to talk about what are some general rules for buying diamonds. Now these are basically my rules, so I mean you can think about it and decide whether you think it's appropriate or not. The first rule is I recommend that you buy only brilliant cut diamonds, and of course the only exception to that is radiant cut. That's the little square or rectangular diamonds. They're quite nice, but fashion cuts go in and out of style, whilst round brilliant cuts always stay in style. And unless it's a really good price, I'd always stay with round brilliant. That's probably the best shape to go for. The next point is to always try and get stones which are at least 50 points. That's or just under a carat, like a 0.45 carat diamond. Anything less than that, and it's really too small. The next thing is to ensure the clarity is at least SI1 or VS2. Now VVS is great, that's a higher grade, but you don't want to go any lower than SI1. SI2, the absolute, that's the cutoff point. The colour, I would really recommend you don't go below J. Now some people say, oh look, I only buy G stones or H stones. Well, they're very nice. H is good. You're getting a bit more value for money, so bigger stone, nicer clarity, but don't go below J. Now the next rule I think is really important, and this is to stay away from fracture-filled diamonds or radiated stones. Now a fracture-filled diamond, that's basically a diamond that's got a crack in it that has been filled. So they'd use some sort of adhesive, special adhesive to fill up a crack. Now the problem is, because it's not the same property as the diamond, you're filling a crack with some glue, and the danger is that the crack can, if it gets a shock, it can certainly continue on and it can break off. Now fracture filled, in all honesty, I was watching a video that Fred Seelar said, and he reckons there's about 25% to 30% of all diamonds are fracture filled. Now I find that very hard to believe. In Australia, I was speaking to a jeweler who's had his own business, and he said to me that he's only ever seen about 3 or 4 fracture filled diamonds, and he said, look, they stand out like dog's balls, because basically if you look at it with a loop, you'll see where they've patched the stone. So I think as far as it does go, I am seeing on eBay quite a lot more fracture filled stones, and they're quite honest about it. They'll say, look, it's a fracture filled stone. Fracture filled hurts the value of the stone something chronic. So, I mean, unless you're buying it as an absolute bargain, I'd really advise you stay away from that sort of stone there. It's just not worth having. Radiated stones, well, that happens with a lot of lower grade diamonds. What the Russians have been doing is they turn them into pink diamonds, and the only danger is that the suckers are bloody radioactive. So I mean, you want to be very careful with any expensive colours, because the pink stones themselves are many times more valuable than the standard white stone. So you've got to be very careful with that. And I've never really been one for coloured diamonds, to be honest with you. The other advice is to stay away from clarity enhanced stones. Now what this is where you've got a lower grade diamond and they might burn out the imperfections in it, and it's then called a clarity enhanced stone. Again, if you look at it with a loop and you know what you're looking for, it'll stand out. So stay away from those there. Learn the 4 C's. That's carat, that's the size of the sucker, clarity, color, and cut. That's the 4 C's, and there's heaps of videos on that, so I'm not going to go into that terribly much there. The other thing is about the certification. Now, some people say, oh, it's got to be certified. Well, you can certify a shit diamond, and it's still a shit diamond with a certificate. I mean, certification is good because it tells you what the stone is. However, it doesn't improve what the stone is. It can still be a crap diamond. So certification just says this stone is a certain color, certain size, and certain cut, and a certain clarity. That's all it basically says. So it's good because it tells you what it is, but it doesn't improve the stone at all that much there. When I was buying and selling diamonds, and I haven't bought stones for profit for a couple of years now, I was basically trying to buy diamonds for 25% of the retail valuation, and I was selling them for about 1/3 of the retail valuation. And to give you an idea, pawn shops often pay as little as 10% of the retail valuation, which is really thieving. And wholesale prices of a stone tend to be about 50% of retail prices. So that's to give you a bit of an idea of the margins in the business. Now, it's been a couple of years since I've done that, but I dare say I don't think the margins have really changed that much. In Australia, one of the big changes is that the Australian dollar, compared to the US dollar, it has shot up. It's almost, we've got parity. And what that means is that diamonds effectively in Australia, because a lot of diamonds are worked in US dollar prices, they've effectively become a lot cheaper. So if you've got an older valuation, what it means is that the stone may not be worth as much because the Australian dollar is now parity to the US dollar. I hope this bit of advice has helped. So this is some diamond advice for all you diamond lovers out there. And please continue to come to my website, www.luxurytolast.com. Thanks very much.